Hello, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast. The Outdoor Adventure Series celebrates individuals and families, businesses, and organizations that seek out and promote the exploration, stewardship, conservation, access, and enjoyment of the outdoors. Our guest today is Charles Wang. Charles is the marketing lead at Stoke Voltaics. Stoke produces a line of outdoor cooking and camping equipment. Their products include the Joulle portable electric kettle, the Nomad cooking system, and there's a couple other projects that are on the on-deck circle. We'll let Charles talk a little bit about them. Charles, it's a pleasure to have you on the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast.
Hey, Howard, it's a pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. Now, I am in Las Vegas, so about 1:30 my time. It's a beautiful day, though I haven't seen it yet. You are in New York City, right?
Yes, I'm currently based in Brooklyn.
Based in Brooklyn. Oh, there's a deli in Brooklyn right over the bridge that I remember going to with a girlfriend. So now you're going to have me thinking about deli and bagels. So thanks for that.
I had one this morning.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I always remember you walk outside and you have the vendors that have these cups of coffee in a paper cup. You get your bagel. What a way to start the day. And I'm really glad that you reached out and you're the marketing lead at Stoke Voltaic. So if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, what does it mean to be a marketing lead? And also tell us a little bit about Stoke Voltaics.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do so. So thanks for the introduction. My name is Charles, and I, as mentioned, am the marketing lead over at Stoke Voltaics, which is an outdoor adventure company. So where do I begin? Well, for starters, I grew up in the concrete jungle that is Shanghai. And up until a year ago, I hiked maybe 5 times in my life up until that point. And last year, I visited China to visit some friends and family after COVID ended. And I think after 3 years of following really strict regulations, reducing travel, and to some extent, not even letting people get their apartments, I think the Chinese youth had this unprecedented desire to explore the outdoors and for outdoor adventure. To put some numbers behind that, I think between 2021 to 2022, the camping market grew by almost, I think, over 50% to like a $15 billion industry in China.
Wow.
And as a Gen Zer myself, I was subject to this trend. So I went camping, I went glamping, and hiking with all my friends, pretty much every chance that I got. Like that's how big of a trend it was at the time. And that's how I got introduced to the folks over at Stoke Voltaics. We hit it off, and the next thing I'm the overseas marketing lead. And to answer your question about like what it is that I do, so in China, there's a lot of manufacturers, a lot of companies that try to sell products to overseas, particularly Western markets like US or UK and stuff like that. But they struggle to like really identify who their core audience are, or like really identify who they're serving. And they struggle to really localize their language to be appropriate, or to be understood easily by who their target audiences are. If I help them do that, as well as the typical stuff that you would do, you would see from a marketing lead, paid media, PR, stuff like that.
Okay. And had you always been interested in marketing? How did you get into a role like this? And also like you, second question is how did you discover Stoke Voltaics? Were you out there on a camping, glamping adventure? And tell us a little bit more about both pieces of that.
Yeah. So I was always, I think, kind of a salesman at heart from a young kid. I remember I used to sell Yu-Gi-Oh cards to my friends. I don't know if you know what Yu-Gi-Oh is, but it's like a card game.
Yeah.
That was very popular. I loved Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid, and I was package them and sell them to my friends as like a elementary school student. So I think I've always had a knack for just enjoying marketing and sales. And that kind of carried on with me throughout college. In college, I studied at Carnegie Mellon University in business marketing as well as design and a little bit of computer science. And I was formally trained. To be honest, I didn't really learn that much in college with regards to marketing, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. Sorry, mom or dad. $300,000 went down the drain. That's not true. But I ended up studying a lot of marketing on my own free time, like learning how to run Facebook ads, Amazon ads, and eventually started reaching out to local businesses on helping them um, figure out how to like market their audiences, sorry, their product to their audiences digitally. The way I met Stoke Voltaics was kind of a funny story. I was graduating from college and I interned at a fairly big tech company the year before. And I kind of realized that that wasn't really what I wanted to do. Kind of wanted to do my own thing. And I didn't really know where to begin. But this was the craze of like drop shipping. Like this was back when a lot of people used to drop ship products over in the US. And um, this was the beginning of a really big trend in China where instead of like people in the US drop shipping products from China to other people in the US, the people in China would just cut out the middleman and just drop ship themselves directly or drop ship the products directly. And so I noticed this trend and I was in China at the time. I literally flew to Shenzhen, which is like the hustle capital of China, and began to just knock on people's doors and was like, hey, I speak English. I do marketing. Would you like me to help you market your products on Amazon or to US audiences? And I knocked on, was maybe like 100 doors. And eventually I met Stoke Voltaics. I barely knew anything on hiking at the time. This is back when I was beginning to hike with my friends a lot, or camping with them a lot. And I thought I saw a really good product. And yeah, I went camping with them one day. They showed me the product. And that's how we hit it off. Yeah.
All right. So can you describe what is Stoke Voltaics and specifically what is this Joulle portable electric kettle? And for our listeners, uh, I'm going to attempt at a later date with a colleague of mine, a friend of mine who's also an outdoor adventurer. She's also a YouTuber. So we're going to record a kind of a YouTube video of us unboxing this kettle. It's actually right next to me, but to be respectful to Charles, because his video is off and we want to conserve bandwidth, I will have a photo of it and we'll pull that down for you on the Stoke Voltaics website. But can you talk to us more about this kettle and what was the need that prompted the creation of this piece of outdoor equipment?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a funny story. I first met Stoke Voltaics, they have Joulle. And so I went camping with them. We went to, it's called the Stone Forest, I think, in China. Basically, it's like a limestone formation that looks like forest. It's really beautiful. Highly recommend you go there. It's in Nomad province in China. I think travel is open now for everybody. So
Hey, if Charles, if
definitely,
you're inviting me to come over and do podcasting to go with you to China, I'm all in. Just let me know. My passport is up to date. So I'm sorry. Please continue.
oh, of course. Yeah, no, I'm going to be going, I think, around February next year. So if you want to go with me, you know, I'm looking for a travel buddy.
All right.
Um, yeah, so we were going to Yunnan in the Stone Forest, and thought we were planning on staying for like a couple nights, and we brought a ton of food to barbecue, like some steaks, brought some chicken wings and corn on the cobs and stuff to just barbecue on the grill. And the weather was supposed to be really nice, right? But like literally the moment that we get there, there's torrential rainfall. And this is the kind of rainfall that like literally changes the shapes of the rocks that are there. Like that's why it's like a stone forest, like that kind of rainfall. And so we were just stuck and we had like nowhere to go. We had all this raw food with no way to cook it because the grill's outside. Um, and so we were just thinking to ourselves, like, we're kind of screwed. Like, what do we do? And so one of our friends actually had like a regular kettle, um, and like a generator, like a power station. And we are like, all right, well, like we only have like graham crackers if we want to eat that, or we got to do something with this food that we have. And so maybe against our better judgment, we decided to try and use the kettle to cook a lot of the raw meats and vegetables that we had. And if you ask different people, they'll give you different accounts on how edible the food was that night or that day.
You're still alive to tell the story, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. And right. So it worked, I guess. But we didn't really want that to happen again. And we're like, all right, so I think we should make something. We should make something that can like help us survive in these conditions. And so that's kind of the birthing idea of the Joulle. Like the first couple prototypes that we made was like nothing close to what it is now. But eventually we prototyped it, iterated it to become what it is now. So it's effectively what it is like an electric jet boil, I think is the easiest way to describe it.
Sure.
It's like a cooking flask that you plug in and then it has three functions, which is you can eat, you can cook food with it, you can boil coffee, drinks with it, or you can pop. It's up to you. And yeah, you can learn more about it on our website. Yeah.
Yeah, and those are three good choices: liquid, cook the food, or the popcorn. And one thing I am curious about is I was starting to do my research. So you need a power generator, you need some type of external
Correct.
power. So when you were out there with camping with the folks from Stoke Voltaics or your friends, who's carrying this generator? Because I mean,
We-
right now, I mean, generators are fairly, they're not that huge, but if you're going on a multi-day hike, that's a lot of weight to carry. So is this
Yeah.
more of like a quick day hike for an hour or so, or doing it overnight, or is this kind of a multi-day hike to take the generator that's going to run this piece of equipment?
And yeah, Howard, that's a great question. And one that took us many months to figure out ourselves. And I'll tell you why. So originally when we created the Jewel, we were thinking that this would primarily be for like hikers or campers and stuff like that. But when we first iterated it and like I got a prototype sent over to me, I took it on a hike. I think we went to Mount Beacon, which is like north of Manhattan. It's I think one of the tallest mountains in the Hudson Valley, and it could be a pretty stream hike.
Right.
And I carried the generator and the Joule, like determined to to use it at the summit, and cook some ramen with my friends that go with me. And I'm like a pretty scrawny guy, to be honest. Like I'm 5'8", not that buff, and it was straining on my back for sure. It definitely made the hike harder. But at the end, like when we got to the fire tower, which is the summit, I was able to like make some ramen for my friends. We made some dumplings, and it was a great time at the end of it. But would I do it again? Maybe. I think for certain people, like one of my friends, he went to the Korean army, who carries like 50-pound weights on him for his training, plus like a 25-pound gun. Like for him, no problem. Like he could do it easily. I should have brought him with me to carry the stuff. But yeah, I think it's a matter of preference. And when we started to market our products to hikers, we got mixed results. Like some people really liked it. They didn't mind carrying the generator with them. Other people who would go on these multi-day hikes or didn't have the physical ability to carry that much weight with them or easily do it, didn't like it as much. So um, that was something that we realized over a couple of months. We recently worked with a KOL that goes by the name of Shoestring Martha on YouTube. She's not a really big person, a big account. She posted a video that only had like 1,000 views or something. I'll have to double check again, but last time I checked, it had like 1,000 views where she talks about the tool, and she was using it in the context of car care, like, which I've never heard of at this point. So I was like, car care, like, what is this? But I've never heard of this, right? Like, so I was shocked because when she posted that video, like a few weeks later, like we just got this huge influx of orders on Amazon. We were like shocked to know why. Like we didn't really understand it because like nobody do that in China. Car camping is a pretty American thing, I would say. Like, in China, people don't really do that because it's not a lot about cars over there. But that's changing. That's actually changing very rapidly in China. But yeah, we were shocked because yeah, the video had very low views. We had this huge amount of sales from it, and that's what we realized. Like, okay, our target audience is car campers. These are the people who are like people who will easy access to electricity that doesn't necessarily carry a generator with them all the time. That's who we want to be targeting.
When I first saw the equipment, and it was you had reached out about doing the podcast, I went on the website, and
Yeah,
that was actually the first insight that came to mind, is like, no one's going to take this on a multi-day hike. And by the way, if you took it on a multi-day hike, I hope you had the good sense to give it to somebody else to bring back with you so you
I did.
didn't have that load. But this is the perfect device, this kettle, to take if you are going out on a car camping.
Mhm.
To you're usually if we have a portable device, it's either fully charged or we have a solar panel which we can charge the device. But then when it comes time to getting up in the morning, having your cup of coffee, or at night when you're cooking dinner, you've got the perfect pairing. You've got this wonderful device plus the power that's going to run it. Now, I think the minimum power is 500 watts, I believe.
That's correct.
Okay. And so for our listeners, you have to calculate how do you run this device and also your portable power to make it all worthwhile. Because we also have here in the US, we have our smartphones, we have our Kindles, and if I want to cook with the Joulle, and then I have your other cooking systems, the Nomad, which I know is under development. Uh, you want to be able to cook all this and know that you're going to have the power that's going to last long enough to take advantage of the device. But describe the device. It's got a nice colors, it's good layout, the nice handle. What would be your favorite thing to recommend folks use this device initially before?
Yeah. I am actually making a little recipe book with this thing.
Okay,
So like this is a great time for me to start talking about some of the recipes in that.
sure.
Look, but I think if you're just getting started, like the jewel itself is like, it's like a little bit like thicker than your average 32-ounce water bottle, I would say. So it's pretty small, honestly speaking. And it has enough space inside of that whole room in my hands right now. Um, to store around 16 ounces safely of liquids or whatever you have in there, which is usually enough for like one pour. It's a generous portion for one person, or like a fair portion for two people.
Okay.
I would say if you're using it for the first time, I love ramen. Like I think ramen is one of my favorite foods ever since a kid.
Of
Uh,
course.
I just love ramen, and so ramen's probably the easiest thing to make in this thing, and super simple. You just boil the water, put the seasoning in it, and then you put the ramen into the jewel. When water's boiling, you put it on top of it, and then you can make whatever you want to make, and then you'll have the ramen, and you can add other stuff that you want to put in there, like eggs or shrimp or whatever it may be. If you want to go a little more complicated, you can make some really good chili in this thing. Like if you have chili could be really good in this. Other things that I've done that I really enjoy are just like dumplings. Like if you have some dumplings, just boil the water, throw the dumplings in there, put some bong seasoning, and you have a bong meal ready in like a couple of minutes. Um, there's also like the cook function. So the cook function is a little bit different from, I think, something to typically expect. So the cook function, or the eat, that's called eat on the Joule, lets you stew something indefinitely. So it just keeps on cooking and keeps on stewing it. And so that makes for really nice like stews, um, or whatever local ingredients that you might have whenever you go hiking. Something that I really enjoy when I go hiking or traveling is I'll explore like a local farmer's market and just pick up like a bunch of ingredients there, take it with me. And then once ready to eat, I'll start it up and just toss in the farmer's market there for a really home style stew.
I love it. And part of the car camping or outdoor adventure, or definitely the multi-day hiking adventures, a lot of people, rather than buying the prepackaged uh the freeze dried food that you'd get like at REI, they're actually drying the
Mhm.
vegetables and the pastas, the meats themselves, and packaging it, and they take that with them. And I'm thinking that homemade dried meal that you prepped at home would then be a perfect use for the Joule, because all you need to do is add the water and you've got the power and you've got a wonderful, literally home cooked meal.
Yeah, I've never tried that, but that is a really good idea.
There's a guy who's got a YouTube channel. I'll have to share that with you. Castro, I think is his last name. And he
Mhm.
did a cooking demonstration at the Outdoor Writers of America, uh, Outdoor Writers Association of America. I should know this because I'm a member of this organization. But last year in Casper, he did an actual cooking demonstration of folks who are on outdoor adventures, and he actually did the cooking. And this would be a perfect complement to the ingredients he was preparing and actually the uses of the Joulle. And so when you've got what he's prepared plus the convenience of the Joulle when you're doing your car camping or overlanding, that's another name for it. I think it's a perfect match. Now, one thing I noticed when I was looking at the kettle, it reminds me of a French press.
Mm.
And I was curious, is there a kind of a coffee creation ability to this, or like a way to strain out the grounds and then so you can I'm a morning coffee kind of guy. I have to have my morning coffee, preferably overlooking a pristine lake or a mountain range. But can I enjoy a nice cup of coffee using this device perhaps as like a French press, or is that something maybe hasn't been thought about yet?
Yeah, you know what? I'm not like the biggest coffee drinker, but my friend is, and he brought that exact same comments to me, like a week ago. And funnily enough, we are in the process of creating a French press extension that
Ah,
can be combined to this thing to let you like make just really good coffee. Yeah, so it's being made.
I'm thinking this was like a match made in heaven. You produce the equipment, I'll do a demonstration with my friend Deb, and I think I'm all in because I think this is a cool little device. Now, the popcorn, I think that's interesting because I don't know
Mhm.
I mean, the device is not that big. I mean, it's a decent size for one person, but uh, I can go through a whole bowl of popcorn if given my devices. But how did you end up deciding, yeah, we want to make some popcorn in this thing?
Yeah, so our lead designer, well, I think the main idea behind it was like we want to have a certain emotion with the jewel, like whenever you're going camping. We want there to be we want the jewel to fill the air with joy. And we were wondering like, how do we do that besides like making really good food? And something that like the people in that room that day agreed upon was like, you know what? You never go wrong. Popcorn always makes every like hike or camp like better. And so we are like, okay, let's figure out how to make popcorn at this thing. So we got a lead designer to do it, and here we are now. This thing pops popcorn.
Fantastic. So the Jewel has been around for a year, a couple years. What's its age right now?
Oh no, not even. It's been out for like less than a year.
Less than
Yeah,
a year. Okay.
less than a year. Mhm.
And you've shared a couple anecdotes about this device. The woman who was doing the cooking with it. What other anecdotes are you hearing now that this device is out? And there's a whole bunch of YouTube videos, and I was researching listening to some of those as well as I was researching for the episode. But what are some of the other anecdotes that you're hearing about the Jewel?
Yeah. So I think we had a huge surge of like reviews and people like honestly just buying our stuff after we started putting in on the car camping market. I think
Hmm.
that was much better received than I. And we get frequently emailed. I think a few weeks ago, or not a few weeks ago, this is literally last week by the time I passed by. Um, or time doesn't make sense. But last week there was like a hurricane in New York. I think it was called Hurricane Ophelia. I was part of it. That was part of the reason. So for the viewers who don't know, I was supposed to have this interview like 2 weeks ago, I think, but
Right.
my workstation got flooded because of the storm. So we had to delay it. But around that time, somebody else emailed Stoke Voltaics saying like thanking us, like, hey, like I was coming back from this camping trip and I got caught in a storm And I literally couldn't get out of my vehicle for like 24 hours and I was stuck there. And I had a gas stove and some grease, but I didn't want to turn on my gas stove indoors in my car because she didn't think I was safe. But I had a Joulle with me, and she used the Joulle to cook like her 3 meals that day. And despite being stuck in the rain and the storm, she was able to have three like hot meals with her uh, that day, despite the conditions. And hearing that was like, wow, like we would have never thought like the Joulle that we made would be able to serve people in that kind of way. But we get those kinds of feedback pretty frequently, which is great. Like we love every single time we hear those. It really makes us keep pushing forward and like improving our product and stuff.
I love
Um,
that. And it's great to hear that folks are using it and they're giving you good feedback and like you need to make a French press out of this. Okay. That's my feedback. But
we
I,
will.
I think it's great.
We
You
are.
have real world use out of this equipment and you can kind of feel good about it because for a particular event like this, the flooding and the storm, it basically helps somebody have substance. Try to say that
Mhm.
a couple times with an adult beverage, and it really it came in handy. So those are those stories that definitely have to make you and the product and the development team, the engineering team, feel real good. What other and products are underway, and perhaps ones that you can share with us?
Yeah. So there is the system that you're talking about, Nomad cooking system, at the beginning of this podcast. That's going to be a much more robust cooking system than the Joulle. Like the Joulle is kind of just like a flask that took a variety of things in it. But the Nomad cooking system is almost this Russian nesting doll of equipment. You have like a pan, pot, and a kettle all nestled into one thing. And it was generated through AI. I think that's kind of like a hot topic. It's very nebulous when I say it like that, and I can definitely explain it a little bit more.
Sure.
Um, but that's a product that's on its way. We were actually supposed to launch it this year or this month, October, but we ended up delaying it because there's some things that we weren't super happy about, and in service of a better product, we'd rather just take our time with it. But yeah, a little bit about like the AI part of it, which I think a lot of people would be interested in hearing.
Oh yeah.
So this is, I think calling it AI generated is not entirely factual. I would rather call it AI assisted. So there's two parts in which AI helped us create this product. One is we used AI to scrape and machine learning and to scrape on the website or across the internet a bunch of features that are on outdoor cooking apparatuses,
Mm.
generated like a huge list of, and we use AI to like refine that and like generate like curate a list. And we then took this list to a couple focus groups or a couple surveys to help us rank like which ones people prefer. Like all these things, like what do you actually care about? And then we got that list of features, and then we brought it to another AI tool and instructed it to be like, hey, these are a list of the 10 features that you want on this outdoor cooking device. Can you generate what this could possibly look like? And it would take that prompt and generate like hundreds of variations that our team then looked at, picked out our favorite like 10. We cross-referenced it with our designer to make sure like the 10 that we picked are actually possible to make, because sometimes AI tools will create fantastical things that are physically impossible to make.
Right.
So we had to there's some human element in there as well, for sure. And then we had 10 different kinds of systems that we knew were feasible and we liked and incorporated a lot of the features that people valued. And then we showed it again to other focus groups and via surveys. And we landed on what we have now. So that's how that transpired.
Very good. So you've got the Joulle. It's already in production. It's being used. It was developed with AI assistance. And I do love that because even within the podcast space, I use AI to help me with my transcription, with my editing, and also to help with the creation of show notes, which then I then edit to ensure it's my voice. And so I love how you guys have used it to help gather data about what people are looking for in a preferred cooking system. And so I think that's wonderful. And I look forward to the Nomad cooking system when it's launched. Now, I did see on the website you have an actual product which is outside of the cooking space, but it's a camping light. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, so we recently launched a product called the Pylon, and it's a camping light that also doubles up as like the battery for your phone, like a power bank for your phone. Also repels insects and mosquitoes. So it's kind of like it does a lot of things. And so this was actually our first iteration of like what it would be like to use AI assistants to generate a product, which is why it kind of does like a variety of things. But yeah, we did the same process. We created a list of things that people wanted that when they were camping. We generated a huge list of them, identified the ones that we could feasibly incorporate into a small, and then used AI to generate what that could possibly look like, passed it to a bunch of people, got their feedback, and ended up on this product. And now you buy their website.
I love it. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot just a little bit, Charles. I
Okay.
am a outdoor photographer, and I love shooting photos of the Milky Way. And one of the aspects of shooting, especially at night, is you don't want all of a sudden a very bright light, which a camping light potentially could produce. And so what we do is a lot of us have handheld, some of us have the headlamp, which
Mhm.
actually gives out a red beam. So there's glass in front of it that makes the beam red. And I'm curious, does this camping light also provide a color, say like red, for somebody like me who could potentially use it during my astrophotography adventures?
Yeah, so I don't think it could produce a red light, but it does have different kinds of lighting. You can use it as like a cool light flashlight, or you can have it turn. Like you can illuminate with like a warm or a cool glow.
Okay.
So if you mean red, if I think if you use a warm glow, that might be closer to what you're looking for.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think you do like RGB, LED kind of situations
Okay.
instead.
Just didn't want to put you on the spot. So my suggestion is go and search on astrophotography and
Mhm.
the use of red lights. And there's a whole, if I was going to make a suggestion, that would be it. Is you could also serve that audience as well, because that way, we're not going to be affected by white light during our outdoor adventures. But I totally get it. You got a great new product out there, and just based on from what I've read, I think it's going to be maybe not as popular yet as the Joulle, but it's going to get up there nonetheless. So now that you have been in this business as the marketing lead for Stoke Voltaics,
Mhm.
as you kind of look back on your career, and you're still a young guy, uh, w- any advice that you would give to your younger self about this path that you've decided to go on?
Wow.
It's a hefty question, I know.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't think I have too many, I guess, regrets of like, hey, I made this decision that really impacted what I did negatively. I've always been really independent, and I think I've always had a mindset where I have a belief that everything will be okay. Like there's certain things that I can control, and then there's certain things that I can't control. And I think that realization has helped me quite a bit. I wish I realized it earlier. Like there are certain things that there's no point in stressing about it. There's no point in worrying about it because you can't control it. So what's the point? You're just wasting, you're just making yourself feel bad for no reason. I think having realized that like not super long ago, but that really helped me like get through a lot of tough situations. But yeah, I wish I knew that earlier in my life.
Okay, fair enough. I appreciate you sharing that. Now, I just realized, and I am a little remiss, it's at 2:12 here in Las Vegas. It's after 5
Mhm.
in New York. And as Jimmy Buffett would sing in one of his songs, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So what are you doing after 5 o'clock?
Oh, well, I gotta hit the gym after this. Uh, housemate, hit the gym, and then I was supposed. So I got a tattoo last Thursday, on my stomach. It hurts so
Oh
bad,
my
but
God.
I got a tattoo on my stomach, and I was chatting up the person like who tattooed my stomach, and I'm gonna get dinner with her later tonight. Those are my plans.
Oh my God. Okay. So I'm almost sorry, Charles, that I asked this question. Okay. But now you are drinking a beer, right? It's
I
after
am.
5. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Modelo,
A Negra or a Special?
especially.
See, I'm a Negra, so kind of guy. So, but I like Modelo. So before we head out, any final insight or aha moment that you'd like to share with our audience about the work that you're doing with Stoke Voltaic?
Hmm. Yeah, I think the biggest aha moment was the feedback that we've got like recently that I was telling you about earlier. And it honestly really started only happening in the last couple of weeks when we started like changing when we were targeting percent products to.
Mhm.
But that has really made the work that I've been doing far more impactful. Like it has really motivated me to like actually work the 8 hours supposed to work every day.
Did you say 8 hours or 80?
Okay, all right.
Eight
Eight.
out
Well,
eight
every day.
every day. Just eight?
Okay, well, it's a lot better than what I used to, trust me.
Yeah, I wouldn't let my bosses know you're only working 8 hours, my friend. But that's okay. That's okay.
Well, I'm working 8 hours now. That's the important part.
Yes, it is. You have to have a good work-life balance. So okay.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Well, that's something I wanted to share. I'm also I adopted a cat recently.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago. She doesn't have a name yet. She came from a pretty unfortunate situation, and like people that found her didn't know her name, so she just been called Cat. She's very tiny, like tuxedo cat that's super slow and like does everything at her own pace. And she doesn't have a name yet. And so if anybody out there has a good recommendation or what to name her, I'm all ears. I don't, should I give them my email or what should I do
Well,
here?
we're gonna give the folks an opportunity on our website. So this episode will be up on the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast website. It'll be on all the podcast directories, but especially Apple and Spotify, and we can get reviews. Plus, our listeners can leave comments. So to further to Charles's request, if you have a potential name for a little cat. In fact, Charles, if you want to send a picture with you and the Stoke
I
Voltaic
would
and the
love
cat,
to.
we can include those in the show notes, and hopefully our listeners in their comments will give you some suggestions as well. Now, before we do head out, just if our listeners would like to learn more about you and the work at Stoke Voltaics, where are the best places for them to go?
The best place to go is stokevoltaics.com. That's spelled CSTOKEVOLTAICS.com. You can also find us on Amazon by typing in same name, Stoke Voltaics, and there you'll be able to learn all of our products. And you can also check out our social media, which is Stoke Voltaics on Instagram.
Fantastic. We will definitely provide the backlinks to the website as well as to your Instagram and Facebook pages. And our store link on our main website will have a link back also to the Stoke Voltaics portable electric kettle, the Joulle. And Charles, I'm so glad you reached out, and you've had me very curious about about this piece of outdoor equipment. And I'm thrilled that I made the connection. Like, this is perfect for the person that's doing car camping,
Mhm.
because sometimes this is a lot more convenient than bringing your jet oil and getting that all set up. And as long as you've got that power supply, you're good to go. So, Charles, it's been a pleasure to have you on the Outdoor Adventure
Pleasure to
Series
be here.
podcast. And I look forward to continuing to learn more about the products that you guys are producing and marketing. So thank you again.
Thank you so much, Howard. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be on this podcast.
My pleasure. Listen, stay on the line. We're going to do a quick close and you and I can have a final chat. Okay.
Bye.
All right. Okay, folks, we've just been chatting with Charles Wang. He is the marketing lead at Stoke Voltaics. Stoke Voltaics produces the beginnings of a line of outdoor cooking and camping appliances. Their flagship product right now is the Joulle portable electric kettle. There's some other more robust and multifunction cooking system is under development. And they've also produced a camping light. And so we're going to definitely have links back to those two devices as well as to the Stoke Voltaics website on our show notes. We'll also provide the backlinks to their Instagram and Facebook pages. Now, regarding the website and also the podcast directories, we definitely want or ask, please, if you would leave us a comment about this episode on our website. You can subscribe to our Outdoor Adventure Series podcast on the website. You can also, of course, find us on LinkedIn and on Facebook on our Outdoor Adventure Series pages. And we are also on all the major podcast directories. And as I shared earlier, on Apple and on Spotify, you can rate this podcast, this episode, as well as leave comments for us. And again, to Charles's request, if you have a suggested name for his cat, I'm thinking it should be Joulle, but that's just me. But do leave us a message. We love to hear from our listeners. Okay, folks, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, go out there and have a phenomenal day. And we will see you on a future episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast. Take care now.